As you walk along the sidewalk, you stop when something catches your eye. Stapled to a telephone pole is a strange poster. "Have you seen this man?" it reads. That would be strange enough, but something bothers you more so than just the strange poster. You have. You have seen this man. Welcome to Spooks Files, everybody. My name is Timothy Tinklemeyer, and I am here with
Tony Jackson.
This is the first episode of Spooks Files, and I decided that we should start with an ancient mystery that began in the far-off year of 2008. Tony Jackson.
Many moons ago.
You can go ahead and click on this website for this man. When you're there, you'll see a thing that says, "Ever dream this man?"
I'm seeing him.
Every night throughout the world, hundreds of people dream about this face. Have you ever dreamt this man?
I might tonight.
Okay, click on history. In January 2006, in New York, the patient of a well-known psychiatrist draws the face of a man that has been repeatedly appearing in her dreams. In more than one occasion, that man has given her advice on her private life. The woman swears she has never met the man in her life. That portrait lies forgotten on the psychiatrist's desk for a few days, until one day another patient recognizes that face and also says that the man has often visited him in his dreams. He also claims he has never seen that man in his waking life. The psychiatrist decides to send the portrait to some of his colleagues that have patients with recurrent dreams. Within a few months, 4 patients recognize the man as a frequent presence in their own dreams. All the patients refer to him as this man. From January 2006 until today, at least 2,000 people have claimed that they have seen this man in their dreams in many cities all over the world. Los Angeles, Berlin, Sao Paulo, Tehran, Beijing, Rome, Barcelona, Stockholm, Paris, New Delhi, Moscow, etc. At the moment, there is no ascertained relation or common trait among the people that have dreamed of seeing this man. What do you think about this story of all these people dreaming the same face and claiming that he's giving them advice, yet they've never met him in real life?
I think there's a logical explanation. There's two, actually. There's two possibilities. Everybody's going to have their own, personal belief. But I think there's two logical explanations. Number one, they simply saw this man on some type of flyer at one point. He's got a very, traditionally creepy face. Big eyebrows, kind of balding a little bit, big lips, smiling. All that. He's got the traditional.
Hey,
it's very logical.
You can go ahead and
that's it.
You can go ahead and stop describing me.
What?
I said you can go ahead.
So either A, that he just has the traditional creepy face like you, or B, and this one is probably where I more personally lean towards, is he is Satan personified and haunting us. So those are the two theories, I think, and I think that every person's gonna have to come to their own individual conclusion. But one is clearly right.
All right, let's click on dreams before we get into theories.
Do we have to? do we have to?
So what we're gonna do, because I'm tired of reading everything. It's the worst guess I've ever had.
What?
We're going to go ahead and take turns. I'm going to read the first one, and then you'll read the next dream. We will pause to comment on the dream if there's anything interesting.
And there probably will not be, but that's okay.
So, I have had this recurrent dream for some years now. A tall, dark man shows me a picture and asks me if I can recognize my father in it. The man in the picture is this man I have never seen before. He looks nothing like my dad. Nevertheless, I inexplicably answer that I do recognize my father. At this point, I usually wake up feeling very peaceful. Other times, the dream continues. I am standing before my father's grave. I place some flowers on the ground and I realize the photograph on the tombstone is missing. That one, I don't know why that one actually kind of creeped me out. Like at the end. I'm not sure about you, because I was kind of thinking, oh, it sounds silly, and then it's like I realized the photograph on the tombstone is missing, and it's like I don't understand what's going on there, but like it gives.
Yeah, and I think one of the questions comes: is this person high, drunk, crazy, or being haunted by Satan?
Listen, it was in our dream. I don't think you could.
I mean, he could haunt your dream. You could be high in your dream.
Look, I think the Satan one is probably the only plausible answer out of those, surprisingly.
All I'm saying is you've never done some of the stuff I've done, then taken a nap.
Okay, so I trust that you found something unnerving in that too, based on the response. But I'm gonna go ahead and.
Oh, absolutely.
He's saying so like matter of fact. It's interesting. Yes, that's terrifying. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead and read the next dream.
Oh, here we go. I fell in love with him from the very first time I saw him in my dream. Even though, if I think about it, I must admit he's really ugly. And yet, does that remind you of your dating life? And yet, each and every time he sweeps me off my feet with a romantic gesture and sweet words. He buys me flowers, jewelry. He takes me out to dinner and to the beach and to watch the sunset. Okay, Can I just have a second here? Your podcast, but can I have a second here?
It's your podcast.
Okay, well, thank you. Wait. Anyhow, she has fallen in love with possibly a demon.
This man.
Possibly too many shrooms. Whatever. We don't know. In her dream, who is ugly, she admitted, I must admit, is really ugly. Not even like ugly, no, he's really ugly. And she wants to basically, live the rest of her life in her dreams with him. That's where I got out of that. So my question is this: how ugly is she that she is stooped to this level?
I don't know. I think that
fair enough.
But by the fact she's recognizing how ugly she is, she probably is pointing out that there's some sort of supernatural thing to it, that for some reason she's attracted to this person that she wouldn't usually be.
Agreed.
So I'll move on to the next one. We have quite a few to get through here, so we're going to try to speed run it unless there's something super interesting in one of them, which is probably all of them. But I have always had this dream of flying in the sky over my city and observing my friends from up there. Since I moved to another house, I started meeting this man while flying. Not every single time I have this dream about flying, but often enough. He flies too, but never speaks. See, the thing is, I read the first half of these, and I'm like, that sounds silly. Like, oh, he's flying up. But then, like, at the end, like, the image, like, goes dark, and I'm like, oh. Like, that is kind of unnerving.
I wasn't ready for that.
That he's flying, but he's just like, I'm just imagining him flying along, and it seems silly at first, but then it's just like, this guy's been flying with me, he hasn't said anything. He just keeps flying. I really would like to wake up now. And, yeah, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. I said.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you on your podcast.
No, it's fine. It's your podcast, man. So do whatever you want.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Wait, what? The first time I had a dream about this man, I was having a hard time at work. I had a dream about getting lost in a huge and deserted shopping mall. Suddenly, this man appeared, and I started running away from him. He chased after me for what seemed like an hour, until I found myself against a wall in the kids' area in a supermarket. At this point, he smiled at me, and he showed me the way out towards the cash desk. Who calls it the cash desk? Okay, anyways. And I woke up. Ever since that night, this man has appeared in all of my dreams, and he always gives me directions to get out of the dream and wake up. So he's just like a nice guy. He just helps everybody.
Isn't that interesting? Like, it seems like in like some of them, like, and even in that one, he started off as a malicious force. Yet, by the end of it, sorry, my brain is loading. He started off as a malicious force chasing him, and by the end of it, it's like he's the one telling him how to get out of the dream.
Yeah. So he's a nice guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got out of it. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Here we go. This one might be pretty pertinent to you. I've never had homosexual relationships or even fantasies, but I dream about...
Wait a minute. Wait, what do you mean I had to do... Never mind, it's your podcast, whatever.
It's my podcast, so stop interrupting me. But I dream about having sexing with this man all the time. I must admit, he has a lot of imagination and he pleases me. Sometimes when I wake up, I discover I have had a nocturnal emission. Would you like to go into further detail about this one?
Man, he just described your whole entire life. Alright, next one. I saw this man in my dream dressed as Santa Claus. I wasn't ready for that. When he showed up, I felt so happy, just like when I was a little girl. Then he smiled at me and his head became a balloon floating in the air above me. But no matter how hard I tried to catch it, I just couldn't reach it.
Well,
what?
Man, there's a lot more dreams on here than I thought, but we're gonna keep chugging along. I don't even want to process that one. I dreamt of this man when I was in the 10th grade. He hasn't been in any recurring dreams, just one very memorable and terrifying dream. In my dream, I was stuck in a room sitting on a stool. A few feet away from me, there was a television set. I was visited by two men I've never seen before. Not this man, and they both attacked me. I woke up covered in sweat and tears, and I was screaming. I somehow fell asleep, then I found myself back in the room. I started screaming and crying. Then this man showed up on the screen. I begged him not to harm me. He didn't change his blank expression or speak. He slit my throat, and I woke up. I suppose he let me out of the nightmare, but I couldn't stop thinking about him for weeks. I still have some of the sketches I drew of him. I know it's kind of weird. Well, there is one thing I know for sure. It is kind of weird.
I mean, I guess it was better than the Santa Claus. I dreamt this man was in my mirror watching me, saying nothing, and he was wearing glasses. He never moved the entire time I saw him, and he was like a statue, so still.
Well, I dreamt this man was Brazilian and very handsome. He was a school teacher type with 6 fingers on his right hand. He said if the U.S. had a nuclear disaster, go north.
These are getting worse.
Okay. I'm not even... Okay.
I have seen this man in 3 completely different dreams. He was slightly different from the picture, but I recognized him immediately. He appeared suddenly and disappeared in the same manner. His message in all 3 of my dreams was, "It's all over." That was repeated 3 times in each dream. The difference in the picture and the man in my dreams are his hair was a little longer at the top. His eyebrows were not as bushy. Other than that, he is identical. I had no fear of him, but many questions. So it wasn't him.
It was closest. Okay, so one thing I'm going to note before we move on to the potential explanations and theories, each of these stories, like it's silly enough to where it catches me off guard. Do you have any final thoughts on the dream accounts that have been put on this website?
I'll be honest. I feel like somebody, how these are written out, somebody posted, say one of the first, 1 or 2, right? Maybe 3 or 4, and they're all like, okay, cool, I met this guy and all this stuff, blah, 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 in my dream, dream. And then everybody else just joined the bandwagon and made up stuff because, like, we talked about some gay dudes and Santa Claus. I don't even want to know what we're talking about at this point.
Can you make up this type of stuff? I don't think I could. I don't think I could think to write about a Brazilian handsome school teacher with 6 fingers who tells me to go north if there's a nuclear disaster. That's not...
Look, if you ever wonder what the human is able and capable of imagining, okay, just remember that Sharknado exists.
Alright, real quick, before we go on to theory, I'm going to go ahead and click portraits.
Portraits.
We can see some of the different drawings people have done of the man.
That bottom right one is the most terrifying thing, and the top right one is the most funniest thing. And I don't know how those two are next to each other.
What's in the world? Oh yeah, in the world. Click that one. You can see the posters that have been put up.
That's great. Okay, great.
Okay, great. Yeah, it is really everywhere.
Yeah, there's like a bunch, and then one of these has like Jesus behind it. It looks like.
Do you have a final theory before we look at the potential theories that has been laid out by this website?
I think somebody had a dream and saw a creepy dude. They saw a picture of somebody drew of this guy or something like that, and put 2 and 2 together and said that was it. That had to have been it. Because the brain always wants an explanation, right?
Interesting.
You always want to explain things, and so I think that's probably what happened. And from there, people piggybacked off of it to get famous and to not look as weird. That's my theory.
I think that's pretty likely. I'm going to go ahead and get into the theories they have listed. I think that's probably the most realistic. Several theories have been developed to explain the mysteriously recurring presence of this man in the dreams of different people who are not related in any way. The following theories are the ones that elicit the greatest interest among the dreamers themselves. Archetype theory. According to Jung's psychoanalytic theory, this man is an archetypal image belonging to the collective unconscious that can surface in times of hardship, emotional development, dramatic changes in our lives, stressful circumstances, etc., in particularly sensitive subjects. So, I mean, I will say, I kind of see where that's coming from, because, like, it kind of, like, he shows up in, like, a lot of, like, there's a lot of bad situations happening, and he ends up showing up there. And often it's actually to help, it seems. I'm not sure if that's... But, I mean, that's sort of along the lines of what you were talking about.
Most of those were about him being a good guy, actually.
Yeah. There was a few where, like, he started off bad, and then... But... religious theory. According to this theory, this man is the image of the Creator. That is to say, one of the forms in which God manifests himself today. This is the reason why his indications and the words he utters during the dream should be decidedly followed by the dreamers. I will say, personally, I don't believe this one.
I'll be honest. I don't think he looks as Jewish as he should to look like Jesus, but, you know, who am I to do?
Yeah, I mean, who knows, maybe. I don't think that's what Jesus looked like. You know what, I think we can safely debunk this theory. I don't think this man is God or the Creator, or... he might be the devil.
I have more questions about him texting homosexuality things. That would be interesting to know why he was texting some dude. But whatever, it's fine.
He wasn't texting anyone.
Yeah, in that one.
No, they were not texting. They did stuff. That's not...
Oh.
Please.
I thought it was.
Let's move on. Dream surfer theory. It is the most interesting theory and the one that has the greatest implications, but it is also the lowest scientific credibility. According to this theory, this man is a real person who can enter people's dreams by means of specific psychological skills. Some believe that in real life this man looks like the man in the dreams. Others think that this man in the dreams looks completely different from his real life counterpart. Some people seem to believe that behind this man there's a mental conditioning plan developed by a major corporation. Those are like 4 different theories. However, I guess the general idea is that someone is surfing through dreams and just, I don't think that explains like the ability he has to like make people fall in love with him or be terrified of it. Like, it seems like there's some sort of like ability going on there, or a reaction that people have that would not just be to a normal guy. I will say part of what makes this interesting is that he looks, as much as he looks creepy, like if you look at it not for like the sketch it is, but like for what he would actually look like in real life, he is a very normal, standard looking guy with just like bushy eyebrows.
I think it's, he's like so normal looking that he comes off as creepy.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Like an uncanny valley type of thing. Dream imitation theory. There is a scientific psychosociological theory that claims that this phenomenon has arisen casually and is progressively developed by imitation. Hey, I think this is your theory. Basically, when people are exposed to this phenomenon, they become so deeply impressed that they start seeing this man in their dreams.
See, that's it. It makes sense. It's logical, and it doesn't have this dude being God and or of the government.
I think we should revisit this theory in one of our later episodes after we experience these dreams.
What?
Daytime recognition theory. This theory states that the apparitions of this man are purely casual. Normally, we do not remember precisely the faces that we see in our dreams. The image of this man would thus be an instrument which, in the subject's waking life, facilitates unrecognition of an undefined ulcer.
I would agree with that one as well, actually, that most people don't remember stuff in their dreams, so that when they see this, they're like, oh, that must be it. So, yeah, either one of those works to me.
I think it's one of these theories. Except it is not any of those theories. Go ahead and click on Explained. The Explained link in the doc. And I'll tell you exactly what is going on here.
Okay.
You see, Mr. Tony Jackson, I thought you were smarter than this. Scroll down to
You thought right.
Was this man a hoax? And go ahead and start reading.
After the spread of the image of this man, people began to look into
Andrea Nutella.
How do you say that name? They named his son anyways, the creator of the website. They soon found out that Nutella is an Italian sociologist and marketing strategist who runs an advertising agency called
Guerrilla Marketing.
That's what I said. Which designs subversion hoaxes and create weird art projects exploring political and advertising. Okay, so in other words, I was right earlier when I said that it was just somebody posted something and
I remember when you said that. Go ahead and read this last part and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Andrea Nutella came clean about the viral campaign in a Vice interview years after the project, sharing that the image of this man was modeled after an older photo of his own father, which actually that explains that one story about it being the father, actually. Interesting. The project reportedly grew out of Nutella's fascination with the dream invasion, a concept he had encountered in popular media. The project is also... I think the internet to propagate urban legends, so he's studying urban legends. That's interesting. And I think that the reason this works so well is because of how vague it is, that it could like kind of mess with people like, oh, I might have seen something like that. And I also think that other phenomenon like that like have been documented, and there's other like realistic stuff. It's not as widespread as having thousands of people spreading this all over, like, or at least that it's not this common. But I know for the longest time a lot of people on the internet believe this, and I did for a while. I thought this was real, not until just now, but I think it's a pretty interesting overall. Obviously, there's a lot of work put into like this website. You have a part where you can contact them and tell them, like, it links to their email. This website, by the way, just to clarify, is a recreation of the original website because the original website's down. That I do remember when I was younger visiting the original website. It was like this. You can download flyers and put them up on to help with their research. It's funny.
Well,
yeah. But I will say this is the first time I read like some of the dreams in detail. And I will say it surprised me with how creepy some of it actually was. Like I didn't expect it to actually like kind of, I kind of thought it would be kind of silly, and it was a little bit. But I think it did a pretty good job of making a fairly realistic thing that, like you said, had like rational enough explanations to where you could believe it was real, but also was still like slightly unnerving.
I think it proves to us as a people group, right, that one, we're very affected by our surroundings. Okay. Two, that social media and advertisement is of the devil and is a terrible thing. I like to prove me wrong.
Maybe. I think we've mostly solved this case. But there is one thing that I'm still confused about. If this man was just a hoax, then why will he not leave me alone?
Oh, so you've been seeing him too?